All right, good morning, everyone. Let's be seated. Thank you so much, Pastor Toweri, for having me today again. This is the second time in a row that I'm here. Please, let's put our hands together for Pastor Toweri. All right, so a lot has been said about what we need to do to change the trajectory in our state. And I'm going to be sharing some vital changes that the government needs to make to foster a better state, right? So last year I was here, and one of the things we spoke about was the need to have peace in the state. All the other speakers who spoke before me has talked about it. I'm also going to talk about it. But let me welcome everyone by saying good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and thanks to Pastor Toweri again and the crew for making this happen. It's an honor for me to stand here today to speak about a topic that's not only dear to me, but crucial to the future of our beloved Delta State and Warri, our city. The vital changes that we must make to foster a better state are what I'm going to be sharing about. Delta State is blessed. How many of us agree? How many of us agree Delta State is blessed? Warri also is blessed. We are blessed with oil, with a fertile land, with rivers, with cultures that are variant but very exciting. And above all, we are blessed with very vibrant people. But the question before us today is simple. With all this blessing, why are we not where we ought to be yet? That's a question for every one of us seated here, those listening on radio, and those also watching on YouTube. Why are we not where we are supposed to be, having all the things that we have and knowing all the things that we know? Here are some ideas that I have in mind that I want to share this morning that we can do differently. Our governor and the government of the state can do differently to begin to change the narrative. Number one is economic diversification beyond oil. How many of us have heard of this before? Every time we talk about, working out, what we need to do differently, everybody is speaking out about economic diversification. And I'm excited when I hear Dr. here spoke about economic diversification from the point of view he spoke about it. Very nice. But for too long, oil has been both our blessing and has also been a burden to us. How many of us agree on that? Yes. If you live in Delta State, you will know that there was a time where everything we did was around oil and gas. So we had uncles, we had parents who worked in Shell, worked in Chevron, worked in Mobil, worked in Nigerian dredging, Westminster dredging, worked with Lamnaco, worked with Schlumberger, all these other companies. Everything was surrounded around oil and gas. And when things began to change at that time, a lot moved. Now that we know all of that, we know that we cannot drink our oil, and the oil cannot employ all the youths that we have today. So something needs to happen differently. Imagine if Delta State became the largest producer of palm oil. Doctor spoke about it that if the port is open, a lot can happen with agric on us exporting. Imagine that we are the largest producer of cassava flour. Imagine that we are the largest producer of rice. Imagine also, with all the fish farm around Delta State, that we are the largest producer of catfish. It is possible for that to happen. Our farmers will prosper, our youth will be gainfully employed, and our economy will thrive. We must begin to support SMEs. We must begin to encourage agriculture. A lot of people have spoken about that before I came. We must also begin to promote tourism. And I'm going to talk quite a lot about that in the few minutes that I have. From the Asaba Film Festival to the rave events and to the beaches in Ogulaha, in Uborodo, we have stories and sites that the world is waiting to see. Thankfully, Doctor shared a lot of the sites that we have in Delta State that many of us here as young people have never visited. If we must grow the economy of Delta State, Mr. Governor, sir, we must improve the quality of our education. We must improve the quality of our education and skills development. I went to school in this city. As a matter of fact, I was born here. Went to school, Ogunu Primary School, went to Nana Primary School, went to Yerune College, went to Nana College, went to Delta State University, and on and on. The education we got 10, 20 years ago, you can agree with me, it's not the same education we have today. Agree? Something needs to change. Something needs to give. What was happening 10, 20, 30 years ago is not what is happening now. A better data state must be built in the classroom. But not just classroom where we cram and pass exams, but classrooms where young people learn skills, innovation, and character. We must strengthen vocational training. How many of us know now, for those of us who are building, that if you need hard skills today, if you want a tiler, you will not get a worry boy that is a tiler. Do you agree? If you need construction people, you will not get a worry boy that is a construction person. Do you agree? Most of the people who get to do all of these things are people. But I grew up in a time where my parents, when they went to technical school, they taught them how to do shoemaking. They taught them these basic skills, but that's not what is happening in our schools today again. We must strengthen vocational training, invest in ICT hubs, not just in Warri, but in Ughelli, in Asaba, in Kwale, in Agbo, and also train our teachers for the future and not for the past. Because the truth is, the jobs of tomorrow will not wait for a Delta that is unprepared. Number 3 thing the government needs to look at, sir, is youth empowerment and job creation. And when we talk about youth empowerment and job creation, everybody's mind goes to one direction. Let's look for money or train them on something that they need to do. But it goes beyond this. Our greatest resource is not oil, it's our young people. Do you agree? And we have a large number of vibrant young people in Delta State. That's why I'm very excited about what Mofa is doing with Rave. But you know, too many of these young people are idle, unutilized, or underutilized. You can bet me today that if you take a statistics of the people riding keke in Warri today, you will see master's degree holders amongst them. Do you agree? Majority of them are first degree holders. You cannot have a community that has this large number of educated people, but that resources unutilized. And we know the saying, and I do mind, they say is what? It's devil's workshop. We must begin to engage young people productively. We must support their creativity in music. We are doing well there. In sports, we can do better there. Sir, let me say this. Football is not the only sport in the world. Do we agree? There's something they call in economics a comparative advantage. It's where you have the best opportunities as compared to other people. One of the things that is common to us in Warri and Delta State generally is the fact that we're an aquatic community. Do you agree? How many of us know what aquatic community is? We are surrounded by water. Strangely, that comparative advantage in sports is not being used. When they do all the festivals of sport they do in Nigeria today, you will find out that at no time do you see, no offense to those in the sports industry, but at no time do you see us having a headway in the aquatic sports. For example, guys, simple example, if we have a swimming event in Delta State today or in Nigeria, and we properly engage our brothers from those guys that are naturally in our waterways around here, we're from our market, I don't want to call the market name, but you know those are our market side. Naturally, if you take their back, cross drum from this side of the water to the other side, imagine you put that guy in a swimming competition, nobody will beat him. Because that is what comes naturally to him. He has comparative advantage in that. Sir, if we must begin to develop sports, we must begin to look at where we have comparative advantage. Another place we have comparative advantage is the fact that we already have young people involved in internet. I don't want to use the other word, but they are involved with the internet, right? They are already involved in the internet. And I'm going to suggest something, I postulate something that we can do. I talked about having ICT hub just now. I will talk more about that. But then, we will support their creativity in music, in sports, in fashion. We generally like fashion. The Delta man is a fashionistic man. Do we agree? The Yoruba man likes style. The Shekiri man likes guy. The Isoko man, same thing. Many of us don't know that these 4 tribes in Delta State are 4 cousins. There's a drink that's called for cause. Peace is primus. Everybody say this together. Say peace is primus. What does that mean? Peace is number one. Without peace, there's no development. Without peace, there's nothing that can happen without peace. If mommy is not happy in the house, daddy cannot do very well. Do you agree? If mommy is not happy in the house, you cannot enter that house. Same thing, if there's no peace in the state, all these things we're talking about will not make any sense. So I'm going to say to the government, and I'm going to say to you that is here listening to me, to you listening on radio, and to you watching on YouTube, peace is something that we all must fight for. When I was growing up in his house on a Mayberry, almost 40 years ago now, we didn't know if I was Shekiri or Ijo. We didn't know if our neighbor was. There was no difference. We all grew up in the city as brothers. And that must remain. Because worry itself is what is the tribe of all of us. Good place to clap. When you go out there and the house, you say you are a worry boy. I mean, not be so. You will see Calabar people who come into worry and are claiming worry boy. Is it not? Because they've joined the tribe. So our tribe is not any of these our individual tribes. Our tribe is what? Is worry. And so we must all defend it. We must all defend it. All those little things that makes us, look at ourselves as enemies. Those things is not devil. Oh. Now they give us that eye goggle to they see what this one do and what this one not do. Let me say this. For young people who were not here in 1999, and a lot of people speak about 1999. Before 1999, there were a lot of things that were happening in the city. If you did not know, there was DSC that was working. If you did not know, there was Globestar. If you didn't know, there was Shell. There was Chevron. And every company tied to all of these companies. I met them. I saw them. When we were going to school in another college, Shell used to bring one bus. They didn't used to ask whether your parents worked in Shell or not. Once you stay in the area, you join the Shell bus. DSC used to bring bus to the primary school that time. They'll carry you from here as far as DSC. You know all the route from here to DSC. Not be now a house on there everywhere. At that time, there were no houses. It was just bushes around. And they would transport us down there. Why am I saying all of this? We need to get back to that point. Because all the things we're asking the governor to do, he cannot do them until there is peace in place. Without peace, there can be no progress. We must tackle insecurity. And a lot has been said about it. I don't want to go, deep dive into that anymore. Peace is not just the absence of conflicts. It's the presence of justice, fairness, and opportunity for all of us. Number 5 thing the government needs to do, sir, waste management. Waste management. Waste management is big business in any economy that is serious about improving what they are doing. You know why? It can generate jobs for a large number of people. Thankfully, the government is doing its best to see how they can manage waste in our states, but there's so much more that needs to be done. I know there's a PPP that is managing that, but then it can be more. These days, many of us generate waste, and we're afraid because we don't know where to send the waste we are generating to. We're generating the waste and keeping the waste with us. But that waste it will not just only raise, job opportunities, but it also can be recycled to becoming wealth. Is it not? Yes, major cities in the world are recycling. Imagine what they raise in Igbudu market, for example. If they have good waste management system there where people are segregating waste and making sure that they have people who are clearing the waste, and when that waste comes, they take the one that is plastic and they go and recycle. Will be generating, funds for the market. Will be generating funds for the people who are involved. You can pay them. Imagine if we replicate that across the whole of the local government. Imagine also if we replicate that across the state. That is something we're not looking at. I've seen what they do in other states, and I don't want to mention names, but in other states in Nigeria, waste management is big business, and we need to begin to do that. If we engage 2-3 major contractors that can deliver on that front, we would have done very well, right? And then number 6, some people have already mentioned on all of this. I'm going to talk about the marine economy. In Lagos, they call it the blue economy, sir. There is so much. Remember, I talked about comparative advantage. Comparative advantage. In Delta, one of our comparative advantages is that we have the water, right? And we need to begin to do more. The state government needs to pay attention to what we can do in the waters. Imagine now, sir. I grew up here. 45 years I've been in the city. And in that 45 years, I have not seen escravos. How many of us have seen escravos? See, I'm only about 4 or 5. Escravos is the place where the real economy of this state comes from, is it not? Yes. So what can the government do on that, sir? Mofe spoke about Ilashe today. Ilashe now is what they are doing in that state to make sure that people from the mainland go and see what is happening in the hinterlands and islands of the state. If we have a ferry system that has 4 ferry boats, large ones that are not just those speed ones that some of us are afraid to enter, we have that good ferry system with TV. It's not just going to make us see what is happening on that part. It's going to boost our tourism. You know, how many of us have seen the Ogulaha beach? I saw it recently on Instagram. This beach we look at in Florida, in Lagos, that you see the waves flowing. You think it's not anywhere around here. Go to Ogulaha, it's there. Go to Ogborodo, it's there. The problem is that nobody has been able to go there to see it. Imagine that we have those big ferry boats going there, the ones that we are not afraid to enter, that looks really nice. That's what they did in Bonisa. In Boni, one of the greatest problems of that place is that you have challenges reaching there. And some of those oil companies provided those big ferry boats that everybody who wants to go there can enter those ferry boats and go and say, if they put one in Ogulaha, to go to Ogulaha today, I can tell you, many of us will spend the next holiday in the Ogborodo Ogulahas. And when we start going there, the next thing will be that, we first spoke about building hotels. People will be shortlets there. And then this cluster in the landlocked city that we're experiencing, because we're landlocked, whether you like it or not, we can't extend beyond where we are right now, right? Everybody can begin to move, and then we move in that direction, and then there will be no challenges anymore. So, sir, if you've not heard anything from me, is that the blue economy is key, and we need to begin to do. Let me share a final example before I leave in 2 minutes. How many of us have traveled to Kwale from Ughelli, Ole, Isoko to Kwale? Imagine, sir, that the government invites Facebook, Meta, Twitter. AI is the way now, is it not? Invite an AI company there. We already have the young people who are involved in the internet. Good or bad, right? We have the young people who are involved in the internet already. We set up a hub, an ICT hub on that axis. And then we talked about power earlier on. Now there's an electricity bill, or an act rather, that says that the state government can do anything on power generation, right? Imagine that they give power. They don't have to give it to the whole state. Give it to that axis, the Kwale or Zoro or Gwashuku axis. They already have 3 universities there. Fantastic. Get these young people to be involved in these things. Before you know it, there will be so much people going in there, and there will be people who are improving on the IT industry, and then businesses will begin to move there. When that begins to happen, we invite real estate people there, and they can start building houses there. Before you know it, people start going there. The congestion this way moves to that axis, and then we have a thriving ICT industry. India did it. We can't do it. We cannot depend on oil only. My prayer is that Delta has all it takes to rise. What we need now is courage, discipline, and unity. If we fix our education, if we diversify the economy, if we empower our youth, Delta State will not just be rich, but it will be opportunity rich. Let us reimagine Delta not as a place of wasted potential, but as a land where dreams are possible, where businesses can thrive, and where every citizen can say with pride, "Now my Delta be this, now my worry be this." Thank you, and God bless Delta State.